Let me introduce you to the Lepka Show channel. This new creator has rapidly gained their first 1,000 subscribers. The creator sculpts figurines of characters out of modeling clay, and he does it really well. He has already made characters like Venom Morgenstern, Day Fury, and many others.
Let's support this new creator with subscriptions and likes. The link to his channel will be in the description.
Hello everyone, it's Kedmaid with you.
Today I'll show you how I sculpt cars out of modeling clay, tell you what to do, how to do it, and where to start.
Finally, you've been waiting for this.
I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just going to show you how I do it, and you can decide for yourself what will be easier for you to sculpt.
So to start with, we'll need some tools. A roller for rolling out the clay, and a flat, thin tool for smoothing the clay so that it becomes thin and even.
For me, this is a utility knife.
It's easier to show you which tools I use, and then you can replace them with whatever you have on hand.
And you'll also need car blueprints. With them, it'll be easier to maintain the correct body geometry and not make anything too long or too short.
You can find blueprints on the internet and print them out, and for those who don't have a printer, you can just hold a sheet of paper up to your monitor.
It's best to use thin A4 paper, and after securing it, for example with tape, you can trace the car's outlines with a pencil.
I chose the VAZ 2107 as the car to sculpt. Why Zhiguli, you might ask?
It's the easiest to sculpt, I think, because it has a square shape, so it will be easier to make. In general, I've already crashed this car, did a crash test on it. If you haven't seen it, the video is on the channel.
First, you need to understand the basics. And then, once we've reinforced some knowledge about sculpting, we can start working on sculpting more complex car shapes.
There are all sorts of sports cars there, for example, and so on. Well, you get what I mean, right?
So, I usually sculpt in this sequence. The bottom, the base of the car, and the frame, the interior, the engine, the body, the wheels. That's the sequence I've developed for myself.
I actually made the car specifically for a crash test, and for that, I need to make thin elements so that the damage looks realistic.
You can make the body parts, for example, thicker than I do since you won't be breaking them.
First, I roll out the modeling clay into a thin sheet, then I take the car blueprint from above, place it on top, trace the outlines, and then cut it out.
Then you need to cut out the wheel arches. I place the modeling clay onto the blueprint to mark the positions of the wheels, and then cut them out.
Next, I make the rear part with a curve so that the rear axle and suspension can fit there. I also make an indentation in the center for the drive shaft and gearbox. After that, I start making the wheel arches.
When they are ready, I take foil and attach it to the bottom so that the modeling clay keeps its shape and doesn't sag. The foil really helps with this. Then I make the elements on the bottom. The frame, suspension, exhaust system, and other parts.
After finishing the bottom, I decided to make the engine right away, and at the sculpting stage, I painted it, because it's easier to paint those elements now that will later be covered.
Making the engine probably seems difficult, since there are a lot of wires and small parts.
For me, the main thing is to make it look the way it will when the hood is open.
That is, there's no point in making the internal elements. It's enough to make the visible part of the engine, and that's it.
Because if you make it completely, it will take too much time, and during the crash test, some elements won't even be visible.
I'm now crafting the interior elements, starting with the dashboard. I'm highlighting various details on it, including the instrument panel and glove compartment.
I then make the seats according to the drawings and specified sizes.
Making Zhiguli seats is not difficult since they are regular, not racing bucket seats.
I just shape it, then cut off the excess and highlight the stripes on the seats.
After the interior, I start sculpting the frame for the body elements.
Now that the frame is ready, I cut out the body elements from the drawing, roll the modeling clay until it's thin, smooth it out, and place the drawing onto the clay. I cut it out and get the shape of the front fender, then mark additional elements on the fender with stripes that should stick out.
For these elements, I need very thin modeling clay, and after I give the front fender its final shape, I also cover it with foil.
Colored modeling clay is much softer than the gray sculpting clay. I use the same method on the other body parts.
After the front and rear fenders are ready, I attach them to the car and then make the door.
I cut the doors as per the drawing, nothing complicated. Then I reinforce them with foil and bend the upper part. When the doors are ready, I start making the door panels, armrests, door handle, and other parts. I also make it thin so that the door isn't too strong and it can get dented.
When the side elements are ready, I make the front part according to the drawings as well.
For the front part, I took a flat piece of modeling clay and started attaching the radiator grille and headlights to it. After I attach the front part, I start making the bumper. When the bumper is ready, I attach it as well, and I also painted the headlights and the radiator grille.
Let me show you right away what paints I use. It's acrylic paint from the brand's VAZ, and it dries quickly.
I also use Mr. Color and Revel. I repeat the process with the back part, following the same principle as the front.
The front and back parts are ready. All that's left is to make the hood, trunk, and roof, all in the same way with foil and drawings.
When the whole body is ready, I start making the wheels.
First, you need to roll out a long piece of modeling clay and make it thin. Set the size of the wheel and divide it into 4 parts.
I'm making the tire, giving it the shape of a wheel. Then I check the size to see if it fits, And after that, I make the tires round.
And I do the same with the other tires.
Now that all 4 tires are ready, I make a test of the rim.
For this, I rolled out a thin piece of modeling clay, getting a strip like this, and now I need to place it inside the tire itself.
Here I got a rim like this. I'm making widened rims from regular stamped ones, and now using the same method I'm making the second inner rim. Now I start making the disc itself.
Well, all the wheels are ready. All that's left is to paint them and attach them.
So, now you know how I do all this? I hope the different steps were clear to you.
If not, write your questions in the comments, and I'll try to answer them.
Finally, I'll show you some photos of how I sculpted this Samirka.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're here for the first time, like it, and share this video on social media.
Also, don't forget to join the V-Contact group and my Instagram to stay up to date with all the news.
Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.